Hey dudes, CI here. So, as you know, I'm a music nerd. I'm proud of being a music nerd. It's one of my favorite activities in life is nerding out on music. So I'm going to do that today, and I'm going to come at you with something, this is obscure. Nobody cares about this, but I care about it a lot. And all you other music nerds out there might get into it as well. Let's think about bands that have more than one singer, okay? What's the list on this? Can we come up with a list? Now, I've been thinking about this. And I've made some rules. I'm not counting a few bands. Bands like Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young, Simon and Garfunkel, Indigo Girls, I'm not counting them. And I'm not entirely sure why. They don't quite feel like bands to me. They feel like guys who just sing together. Like Indigo Girls, are they a band? They're just two women who sing together, right? Crosby, Stills and Nash, four guys who sing together. I'm sorry, I'm just not feeling it. They don't quite feel like bands. So I'm not counting them. Another thing I count about when you talk about more than one singer, I'm not talking about replacement singers. Like you can't say Van Halen had David Lee Roth and then they had Sammy Hagar. No, I'm talking about same time. That's what I'm talking about. Another group of people who don't make the list are the bands where you got a second singer who only occasionally sings. Like Old 97s, they've got one singer. And then like once an album or once every two albums, the bass player will sing. So, they're not counting as well. Band of Skulls, I could say the same thing about them. Here's a question. Do rap groups count? Like Beastie Boys, they got three guys. Run DMC, three guys. NWA, Outkast. I could go on forever, but I'm not sure this counts. Because they're not singing, really. They're rapping. Maybe you can let me know down in the comments whether you think I should count rap groups. All right, now we've set some rules. Now let's get to it. Let's just name a few bands that have more than one singer. And I started with some obscure bands. There's a band out of New Zealand called the D4. Not only do they have two guys that sing, but they're usually singing at the same time. It's kind of their thing, is the two of them just sort of go and they sing every song together at the same time. It's interesting. Another obscure band, Alkaline Trio, they trade off. One guy sings one song, the next sings the next, and they just go and go and go like that. But those are very obscure bands. You might not even heard of them. Let's talk about some big timers. Some big time bands. How about, I don't know, The Who? You ever heard of them? Pete Townsend, Roger Daltrey? How about They Might Be Giants? They got the two Johns. They switch off. Bare Naked Ladies. They had Ed and Steven. Are we still a little too obscure? You want something a little better known? Okay, how about Fleetwood Mac? You heard of them? How about Kiss? Yeah, they've been around. I don't know. The Eagles? I bet you heard of them. In fact, they had more than two singers. They had a bunch of singers. They let pretty much everyone have a song now and then. Pink Floyd? Does that do anything for you? The Band, they had about three singers who had songs now and then. Oh, I got one for you. Maybe you heard of them. Little band I like to call the Beatles. In fact, if I think we're talking about bands that have more than one singer, I think the Beatles win. Don't they win this competition? Actually, do the Beatles win every competition? I'm pretty sure the Beatles do. Unless we're talking like best heavy metal band. I don't think the Beatles win that. But every other band, they pretty much win that competition. So there you go. Those are a bunch of bands that have more than one singer. Who have I forgotten? I'll bet there's some really obvious ones that I've forgotten. Tell me about them down in the comments. And if there's some obscure ones that you like and you know about, hit me up down there. Those of you who don't really care about music, I'll understand if you sit this one out. But there's a lot of music nerds right now who are jumping up and down, ready to hit me up in the comments and tell me about some I forgot. Okay, there you go. That's me getting all music nerdy. Loved it. Totally fun. Hope you enjoyed it well. I'll see you next week.